welcome back to the World of Storytelling with me, Ronnie, and this time with the fabulous Cathy and Martin, who live with a forest in County Carlow, and I had the great joy and fantastic opportunity to spend a very snowy day, freakily snowy day, out of the blue, and what wonderful people they are. So enjoy the episode. And before we get there, here's a quick question for you all. When does a joke become a dad joke? And the answer is when it becomes a parent. I don't think I've said that one before. Yes. Right. Well, as always, reach out with any thoughts, ideas, and suggestions over who to climb hills with. Enjoy this episode. Thank you very much for listening and have a wonderful, wonderful day. So tell the story, one that is true. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. I'm fantastic.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm feeling really refreshed after our snow angel experiment on the top of Mount Leinster in Carlow in South Island.
Exactly. And who are you?
I'm Cathy Fitzgerald. I'm an ecological artist and educator, and I'm here with my husband Martin, who helps me as well.
Hello, I'm Martin. I'm a stone sculptor, doing a bit of snow sculpture at the moment.
Yeah. So we should explain, a week ago, or a few days ago, even yesterday, it was not snowy weather in the slightest.
No, it was clear blue skies. It reminded me of my birth country in Aotearoa, like a sort of early summer. So yeah. And now we're here on Mount Leinster, and we must be in about a foot of snow.
A mini Lapland alpine adventure.
Yeah.
And we'll record the rest when we're in the back of the van later, I think.
Yeah.
But for the moment, just describe the landscape. What's it looking like?
Yeah, you do. You go, Martin, because this is where you grew up.
From the age of 9 till 16, 17, I grew up here. So I always think your formative years, those teenage years, is where you think home is, you know. So, well, we're on the road up to the transmitter, which is the top of the Mount Leinster off the Black Stairs Mountains, and they're granite mountains, and we're looking kind of southwestwards into the valley we live in a little woodlands below. On a good day you could see Sleeve na Mon, the Galties, the Cummerers, the Knockmeal Downs, but today we can't see anything but white snow and mist and a few snow-covered conifers.
And we're regretting not bringing plastic bags so we could have slid all the way down. It really... Yeah. So the last time that was really memorable was when we came up to see the aurora, and that was incredible. Do you know? Because we only live probably a mile and a half down from the mountain at the bottom, and then just have that on. Yeah, we felt like we were in Lapland. It was.
But we didn't have snow.
No, we didn't have snow, but it was still. It's one of these things when you live next to a remarkable landscape feature like this. Often you come up here when you've got visitors, like yourself included, Ronnie. And I was really intrigued that you wanted to ask about the mountain that we live with. You know, so it's a feature when you come to the bottom of our driveway. We're in a woodland. Which, we're quite sheltered and we don't get a lot of the wind and whatever. And you come to the end of our driveway and there's the mountain. Yeah. On a good day, it's just like, oh, there it is again, So, I always get a great uplift seeing it. It's really beautiful. The mist is going to come down on us.
Yeah.
We've shared over lunch about how the Maori people have invited all New Zealanders to learn their ecological story, their pepeha.
Yeah.
And you wrote to me that you knew about that. So when I try and give talks to creatives and other cultural professionals, I always start with my greetings and gratitude to the forest, the mountain, the good food, my friends and family in Aotearoa New Zealand, and my Irish ancestors and my teachers, trying to emulate what Indigenous people know how to do so well.
Yeah. Now, talking about resilience, my fingers are getting quite unresilient. And also, as you said, the cloud has firmly descended on us.
Yeah.
And now we can't
exciting.
see. It's lovely. It's amazing.
Yeah.
The last time I saw a landscape like this was not Carlow. We'll carry on with our alpine adventure, and we'll carry on this interview later.
Earlier today, we went up the very snowy Mount Leinster.
Yeah.
And from up there, we're looking down, and in the valley, you see this very Irish landscape of fields and monoculture forests. And suddenly there's this patch,
Yeah.
which is very different.
Yeah, and I remember when we were first here, the trees were only a third of the height, so they weren't much higher than our hedgerows. So I think it's been really incredible to live in a forest that's changing. We can see a lot of different things. Oh, Mark?
You've grown with the forest.
Yes, exactly.
And was that the dog opening a door? It sounded like that.
Yeah. One of our 2 lurcher rescue dogs. Just showing you a photo here.
Yeah.
This is when Martin and I first met, and
Oh, wow.
you can see the mountains sort of in the background. But that's how small the trees were. So that's 20 years ago. That's how much they've grown.
Wow.
And that was after a famous party we had before we built the house.
Yeah.
We had a field party. It was just the area of ground, and we invited a few people, and it was in the days before Google Maps, and some of them took about 3 hours to get there. And we just had a big bonfire here, and there was some good stories from that party, if you can remember.
Yeah.
So what you said, that's when you two met, or?
Yeah, no, I met Martin through a mutual friend, and because I'd been working with trees, Martin often says, "Oh yeah, you married me for the trees, do you know?" But I remember around 2013 there was one of the big UN. Oh no, I think it was Earth Day, and so we just went. I just said that we're going up Mount Leinster to my neighbours, and people came that day. It was just, we brought our dogs, we went up. And then a few years ago when there was a big UN summit in Glasgow, again, it wasn't really much on the news, and you think, oh, I'd like to do something. So it was I think it was November or December, and we went.
Yeah, it would have been, yeah.
We went up Sleeveborn, and I remember it was a very clear night, and there was a drummer who came, Tom Duffy, other people. There was, a few prayers said for the planet and Mother Earth, and
we all had torches.
We all had torches, and then we got great photos of us as little lines of light going up onto the top of the mountain. But it just felt like coming together is really important with these ideas, do you know?
Yeah.
But we really, in recent years, haven't had to bring in new species. We've thinned the conifer and let the native trees come up. And what we're finding is the birds are coming in.
Yeah.
And they're planting little groves of cherry. There's also holly coming up. We've even got some Sitka Spruce regenerating, which is good too, because the Sitka Spruce gives us a really... I suppose it gives a lot of wind protection. So if you're trying to bring up a forest, that's what trees really struggle with, is wind. Yeah, they don't like being blown around, No. So our trees are growing up really fast because that's quite sheltered. We were encouraged. We had an ecologist, a good friend of ours, Faith Wilson, come and walk around. And she said, Cathy, gosh, you could bring in some red-listed species, very rare native trees.
Yeah.
And she said, try bird cherry. We do have the wild cherry here, but bird cherry is one of the endangered plants. And we put it in, and it's actually an early spring flowering tree, like little candles of white flowers. It's got a satiny wood stem, and it's beautiful. So I'm checking on it at the moment. And do you know how some people might have stone eagles or lions at their driveway entrance?
Yeah.
If you look closely when you're going out, you see 2 bird cherry.
Oh, really?
Yeah, on either side,
Amazing.
So so that's it. And then the other thing I was actually telling you about before is not so much a tree, but looking at the flora on the ground. And over recent years, in the middle of our little woodland, which has still got quite big conifers, and there's been twigs and there's needles, and it looks a bit messy and it's wet quite often. Over these last few years, there's been about 30 feet with a lawn of little wild violets. Quite amazing. Yeah, very beautiful.
Yeah. It must be so much changeover as well.
Yeah, no, it was a surprise to see the woodpecker a few years ago, and to be amused by its activity. Like it's coming to our peanut feeder, and like I think you saw it first, didn't you? And we said, look, because we often have coffee on the deck, and we're looking out onto our little forest. So Martin said, stop, and we were, it's a very smart looking bird. It looks like it's got a little uniform with its black and white. And, we have our power pole on the property, and we've got all of these trees here, and we've left some trees that are standing but they're dying. Perfect habitat for woodpeckers. No, it likes the very smooth power pole. And didn't it make holes? 8 different holes, like the ear spears come to replace it.
Really?
So,
two poles.
2 poles, yeah. So this is a story about forests coming back to Ireland, but also the unintended consequences about, I don't know why they like those particular poles. Do you know, maybe they thought it was the perfect tree, it was all smooth and...
Just tap, 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 tap.
Yeah. So, and then the other thing too is that because we're in the forest, living with a forest community, we do have wildlife trying to come in.
Yes.
They think this is their home.
Yeah.
We had a little robin that was inside, it was in the bedroom, it was in the office. It was quite demanding. But I actually think it was a little bird that flew in and I rescued and I took it out again. It sort of had got used to coming in and out,
But we also live in a wooden house, which the woodpeckers like to peck at.
Oh, yeah. But there was one time Martin was on Zoom. He was on an environmental group call, and then he got off the Zoom and he said, God, you were making a lot of noise, could you not have been a bit more considerate? I said, I wasn't doing anything. And it was the woodpecker tapping away on the house. Yeah, so...
talking about long-term, many, many years, trees change and things change, but... I suppose the hardest wearing things are stones, and that's a very unsmooth way of going over to you, Martin. And I asked both of you about trees you identify with. But how about, what's your favourite rock?
Well, I suppose Kilkenny limestone is my favourite rock to carve because one, it can be, when it's kind of rough cut or sawn, it's almost white in appearance, but the more you polish it, the darker it goes. So it's very versatile. It's a local stone. It's the quarries along the ridge on the Carlow Kilkenny border, which is only less than 20 miles away. I suppose for kind of building stone and granite is the stone, really, and Carlow it's the granite county. The gateposts, there's a thing called the Carlow fence, which is a kind of granite posts on more granite posts.
Oh, really?
And it's kind of triangular shaped.
It's a low fence.
Low fence, which is very distinctive from Carlow. So they would be my favourite, But I've always picked up rocks where we're gone, It's much harder these days with Ryanair and stuff. You can't really come home with a bag full of rocks anymore, and since 9/11 and things like that,
Especially with granite and sharp.
Granite. So we went to Australia 2016, wasn't it? So we were visiting friends who we were staying with, and actually one couple had been here and I gave them a small stone and they wanted another one.
They wanted a sculpture, yes.
So I do kind of lots of apples and pears and kind of roundish shapes. So I think I had 2 pears. So we arrived into Abu Dhabi and went through customs, and then I was called aside at customers, and it must have come up on the machines, and they said, what is that, And I said, they're sculptures, and they really, really didn't believe me, And I was there for quite a while, They're almost like the old-fashioned cartoon bombs, you know. You
Oh,
see,
like in Tintin when they throw.
yeah. So we managed to get through. All right.
Yeah.
Do you ever consider yourself as Obelix?
No, I'm not fast enough.
Right, no, of course. I didn't mean to insinuate that you were.
Yeah, so we're only at the beginning of building a wood culture.
Yeah. But
yeah.
if there's anywhere that's doing it very well, it's you.
Yeah.
So,
well, thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, you're welcome, Ronnie. It's been
you.
fun. I can't believe that it was so sunny here a week ago, and you turn up and we've been up the mountain. It's like we've been on a snow trip.
The Carlow Alps.
Yeah, the Carlow Alps. Yeah.
This has been a lovely conversation, and it's not been trivial. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
I'll stop there.
Some say the old ruins in the sand tell us every story will come to an end. But my dear, we can live what we tell. We are storytelling animals.